Hey G-Fans, GoGFan93 here, and welcome to another Kaiju discussion video. In this video, I will be discussing the Gamera Showa series. So if you guys watched the last Kaiju discussion, I talked about all three series of Godzilla, the Showa, Heisei, and Millennium. So I'm going to do the same for Gamera, the Showa, Heisei, and Millennium. This is actually cool because this is actually the first Kaiju discussion video that does not involve Godzilla. So it's funny how the series is called Kaiju discussion, yet all I've really been talking about was Godzilla anyways, but okay, here we go. So Gamera, the Showa series. Now, if you guys watched a couple of my latest videos, ever since I went to G-Fest and I bought a bunch of the Gamera, well actually I bought every Gamera film, except for the Heisei series because I already had that on Blu-ray, but when I went to G-Fest I was interested in buying the Showa series for Gamera and the one Millennium film, Gamera the Brave. Excuse me, I have like something in my throat. So anyways, so yeah, and when I got home after G-Fest, and I watched all the movies, and I made reviews of them, and I even did like, I just talked about reviews of each of the film. I kind of talked about them in bulk. I didn't really go through each of them separately as a movie. I kind of went through them really fast because I hated the Gamera series, or the Showa series. I really, really disliked this first series of Gamera. Now, I will be going through all the Gamera movies of the Showa series just to say my thoughts on all of them. Now, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so obviously I might forget a couple of facts or whatever, but I mean, honestly, who cares? I mean, like, I don't know, this series was terrible. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory on my whole relationship with Gamera, especially me being a Godzilla fan. So when I was little, I knew about Gamera, but I didn't know about Gamera as well as I did Godzilla, obviously. I cared about Godzilla and nothing but Godzilla. And in fact, when I was little, I didn't even really know about any other Toho monsters as well. Like, I didn't know Rodan had his own film. I didn't know Mothra had her own film. I didn't know, Toho made so many other different, monster movies like War of the Gargantuans and Frankenstein Conquers the World and King Kong Escapes. I didn't know about that. It was really just Godzilla. That was it when I was little. But I did know about Gamera, and when I saw Gamera on like YouTube and stuff in the early days, I mean, I was like, what is this? I mean, even as a child, I knew that this was shit. Like, not the shit, I knew it was just complete shit. And once again, also I'm going to say, for any of Gamera fans watching here who do like the Showa series, it's completely fine. This is just my opinion. This is my experience. It's just me. Just because I say it's shit doesn't mean it's shit for you. You guys might like the Showa series, and that's perfectly fine. It's just me, I don't. So anyways, now that I got that disclaimer out of the way, although I'm probably still going to get a couple comments of people saying, why are you hating on the Gamera series? Because I shat on the Godzilla animated series in one of my top 10 lists, and it's funny, like, that's the main point, but whatever. You guys can go to the other video to look at all those comments. So anyways, so yeah, I just didn't really care about Gamera when I was little, and it literally took up until I went to G-Fest to actually, well, it was actually when I first got the Gamera trilogy on Blu-ray at like a Walmart one time, and I freaking fell in love with it, and we'll get to that in the next Kaiju discussion video. So I was like, okay, well, now I've seen the trilogy, I might as well see where Gamera started from, and then obviously see the Millennium film. And so I went to G-Fest, got the movies, came back home, watched them, and yeah, I was just like, oh my god, this was terrible and a waste of money, because I paid, I mean, I didn't pay cheap for those movies. I mean, they weren't expensive, but I mean, I feel like for the amount of money that I paid for them, that wasn't good. So let's start about the first one, okay? Gamera, 1965. So this film is basically, which is what I thought of when I was little, a ripoff of Godzilla, 1954. I mean, this movie takes everything that movie did, and Daiei just wants to copy it. They just, instead of making a gigantic dinosaur, they make a turtle. So, but unlike the rest of the series, I was actually alright with the first Gamera movie. I was fine with it. It was a cool black and white movie. I thought it was fine. It wasn't actually that bad. I could watch it again and enjoy it. I did like it. It wasn't actually that bad. So not bad for starting out for Gamera. So when I watched this, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. This will probably be like the Godzilla Showa series. It'll be cheesy, campy, but I mean, it'll probably still have some meat to it, you know? And then we go on to Gamera versus Barugon. Barugon, not Baragon. That gets confused a lot. 1966 is when this movie came out, a year later. And this movie definitely had the Showa feel. It definitely felt like a Godzilla Showa film where it was, you know, cheesy, campy, but yet it still had... It was fun to watch. Like, I didn't mind this movie as well. Like, this one was good too. The monster was fine. I mean, he did look a lot like... I mean, him and Baragon, you know, these two... I think these two should fight in a movie or something because they're basically like brothers, long-lost cousins, separated at birth or something, but... but yeah, this one was fine, and although the attack where he shoots rainbows from his back, or is that the right enemy? I'm thinking that's. I mean, like I said, it's been a while since I've seen it. That might be another enemy later in the series, but I don't remember. But anyway, so Gamera versus Barugon, actually it wasn't that bad. But then we go into Gamera versus Gyaos, which was 1967, a year later. And this is where Gamera really started to go downhill for me. This is where I was starting to fall asleep and all that stuff. And now Gyaos is definitely one of Gamera's... I would say Gyaos is probably his #1 enemy, kind of like the way King Ghidorah is Godzilla's archenemy. But the thing is this movie did not make Gyaos popular. It was the Heisei trilogy that made Gyaos a very cool enemy. In this one, Gyaos looks so dumb, and it's just like... I don't know. This one just the effect. This is where the effects also started to tank. I mean, the special effects just look so fake. Gamera looks so fake. Gyaos looks so fake. I'm just like, and the story, I don't even remember what happened in the movie. It's just like, so yeah, this is where it starts to go downhill. Then Gamera versus Virus, 1968. Virus, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, this one was even worse. Just keeps on getting worse. And I'm thinking Virus, he was the like looking like an octopus tentacle kind of guy, whatever, and just the most silly enemy I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen more like scary looking Ultraman monsters from the very first Ultraman series than what, you know, Virus was. I mean, this was just a really, really lame monster. And I mean, the one scene where Virus like stabs Gamera, and then he flies up in the air, and he's like gets all frozen because he's flying through getting out of the atmosphere, and then all of a sudden like Gamera starts flying around, so he starts spinning, and you see Virus just like his tentacles are flying everywhere, just like, oh my god, and then he just drops. It's just like so bad. I mean, it's like to the point where it's not just cheesy, it's just bad. I mean, you're literally watching this going, no. I mean, if I thought the Godzilla Showa series kind of, you know, ruined the reputation of Godzilla in a way to make people not take him seriously, well, my god, Gamera made the whole genre for people not to take it seriously because people would see this. I mean, it's just like, oh my god. Then we go to Gamera versus Guron, 1968. I don't remember a single thing from this one. I think Guron was the one with like the ninja stars on his head, and you could shoot him, and he had like the big blade on. He looked like a big knife or whatever. And I think the scene was where Gamera did like a spin around a pole or something, did like a pole vault, and it was just so dumb. And kids, oh, and I forgot to mention the kids in the series, by the way, the Showa series. Oh my god. Basically, every time I talk about these kids, I just think of Gamera, Gamera, Gamera. Just shut up. Strangle him and it's just, I mean, I would much rather watch the kid from Godzilla vs. Megalon, or the kid, hell, even the kid from Godzilla's Revenge could kick these kids' ass. Kids, whatever, put on. I don't know. So it's a terrible movie. Godzilla's Revenge is way better because this came out in the same year as Godzilla's Revenge. So bleh. Gamera versus Jiger, whatever. This is where I just started to fall asleep. I don't even remember a single thing from this movie except for the fact that this enemy had like needles that he would shoot out of his mouth, and it like stabbed Gamera, and he did like this weird dance or whatever, or I'm not even sure if that's the same movie because I'm forgetting. It all just starts to blend in as just one big mess up of a movie. I mean, like, the production quality doesn't even get better. At least in the Showa Godzilla movies, you can see that throughout the the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the movies got, like, they had their personality. Like, you could tell what was the 50s, obviously because it was black and white, and then you could tell what was the 60s of Godzilla, and then you could tell what was the 70s of Godzilla. Gamera, on the other hand, I mean, what, this was 1970? I couldn't even tell. Next one, Gamera versus Zigra. This was when it, I mean, this was just, I mean, trying way too hard. This is like beating a dead horse, and this enemy is just really stupid too. And also the fact that Gamera, once again, the one thing I can remember, which was the most cheesiest part, where Gamera, like, literally picked up a rock and started hitting Zigra on the back like a xylophone. He was just ding, ding, ding. He literally played music, and I'm just like, oh, like, it's just that bad. And then we have the worst of them all, I would say, Gamera the Super Monsters, which was 1980, which basically was a big compilation. It was like, Daiei was like, we did such a good job, let's make it all, let's take every single monster scene and put it into one movie, let's not make anything new. And I mean, I'm watching this, and there's like these super heroines, and they're just like flying through the air. There's this bad guy, I don't even remember. I actually literally did not watch this one. I remember watching the first half of it with like the new footage, and then when they started showing all the reused footage, I'm just like, nope, I'm done. I cannot. I'm done. So yeah, that's pretty much the Showa series of Gamera, and I hate it. I've never hated a kaiju thing ever. I've never hated something in the kaiju genre, but the Gamera Showa series, I do not like, except for the first two movies. I can get through the first two movies. The first two are fine in my eyes, but the rest of it is just garbage. It's the worst example of what the kaiju genre was back in the 60s and 70s, and I mean, it was just terrible. So, I mean, would I recommend the movies? No. Except for the first two. Watch the first two, Gamera 1 and Gamera vs. Barugan. Those ones were good, but just skip the other ones and go straight onto the Heisei films, and that's where we will get into in the next kaiju discussion video. And that's really all I gotta say. Also, the music, I don't even remember the music. I mean, there wasn't any memorable things except for the Gamera theme, but even the Gamera theme was kind of annoying. So, well, actually, I take that back. I guess it wasn't that bad, but nothing as epic as Jet Jaguar's theme, you know, or something like that. So anyways, so that's really it. That's my opinions on the Gamera Showa series. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate from this video, but hey, I don't care. It's my opinion. You guys can complain all you want in the comments, but hey, you're not gonna change my opinion on it. Same thing with the Godzilla animated series, which still sucks. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, Hanna-Barbera sucks as well when it comes to Godzilla, okay? I'm not even going to talk about that piece of shit. So, now that I've pissed off pretty much a lot of the Kaiju fan base, I'm going to leave you guys, and that's pretty much it. So, stay tuned for the next Kaiju discussion video where I will be talking about the Gamera Heisei series, and it will be basically the complete opposite of what this video was. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay big, G fans.